Now we're going to focus on human resources, and particularly what human resources is about, identifying skills, the costs of it, some other wage and non-wage costs. It would be fair to say that employees are the most valuable resource of any business, and therefore one of the crucial questions for a business is how many employees are going to be required to operate this particular business. And that's a human resource related question. Where are they going to get the workers from? There's a diagram there straight out of your textbook which shows you some of the places where organisations can seek to source workers from. The choice of source, however, is going to depend upon how big is the particular business, i.e. if they're going to put an ad in a newspaper, there's a cost involved. Can they afford that cost? If they're going to go with a private employment agency, there's an even greater cost involved, so can they afford that? The type of position, if it's for a CEO role, for example, that's going to dictate a different type of sourcing of that particular employee versus a casual staff member to stack shelves, as an example. And the nature of the labour force in that particular area. Does the local area provide a labour force whereby that particular type of employee is going to be found? Or does it mean that that worker is going to have to be, so that organisation is going to have to look further abroad than just the local area, maybe interstate, maybe even overseas? The requirements of a business who have employees include things like staffing objectives, so looking after their particular staff, the duties of each staff member, the skill base of the existing staff, what do they need and what do they actually have, a forecast of future requirements and skills. So that's, again, what skills do our staff have today, what skills would we like to have them in the future, and how are we going to get them there. Methods the business is going to use to actually recruit its staff, a form of the organisational chart, so what's the organisational structure, and records to be kept to manage the employees, administrative records to be kept to manage the employees, pay slips, superannuation payment records, for example. So in terms of skilled employees are generally more productive, they generally create wealth for the business. So what does the organisation need to do to identify what skills they currently have, the staff that is, and what can be done to further improve skills of staff if necessary? So does that mean, for example here, providing training to improve their skills, or recruiting people who have the skills? Two options. In terms of costs, from a human resource perspective, the business has got two main ones. They're the wage and non-wage costs. Wage costs, fairly straightforward, I think, in terms of payment of staff for the work that they're performing. That can come in the form of a wage or a salary. Then you've got these other on-costs. You've got a whole bunch of them there. Again, straight out of your textbook. I'm not going to go into detail on those. Superannuation is one of the important ones. We'll go through this in class, but 9.5% is the current contribution. It's slated to get to 12% by 2025. The government's recognising that superannuation guarantee amount should increase, and remembering that this is a compulsory payment out of staff wages for all workers who are employed, not necessary or not legally required by self-employed people. Employees can make concessional or additional contributions, but that is capped at $25,000. Businesses can claim a tax deduction when super is paid. Businesses can claim a tax deduction when super is paid on time for that payment. Some of the key costs: annual leave allows an employee to be paid while having time off from work, calculated on the 4 weeks annual leave to which each full-time permanent employee is entitled. Some people might get more, i.e. shift workers.